So the Golden Dome has been proposed by President Trump. He put it into action. And what it is it's a nationwide intercontinental ballistic missile defense for the United States. Now, the United States right now has a program of record that is currently in use. It's called GMD, Ground-Based Mid-Course Defense. They use these things called GBIs, Ground-Based Interceptors. By the way, fun fact, they travel at Mach 33. Yeah, that's for you guys. Yeah, that's the missiletism. So
those are fucking
they're fucking cooking. They're fucking moving. Downside is they're $77 million a piece, and we only have 44 of them. So right now we have a whole bunch of different sensors. Like when it comes to the world of radars, America makes better radars than everybody else in the fucking world. Like we have Cobra Dane radar, which is, I didn't even know where it was. It's on the Aleutian Islands in Alaska, and it's a low frequency radar, and it's been around since like the 1970s. And we use that one. We use this thing called SBX, which is the sea-based X-band radar. We have one of them, and it watches the Pacific, the whole thing, at the same time. Like America does
all of it,
like the whole fucking thing.
All of it.
Just before we have to make some phone calls, this is all declassified.
Yes, of course. I verified all this. And then that also
means we have cooler shit.
Much cooler. So then we have Aegis, the Aegis combat system with the the Spy 1 and Spy 6 and Spy 7 from the United States Navy on board their Arleigh Burke class destroyers and their Ticonderoga class cruisers. And then we also have these things called LRDRs, long range discrimination radar.
Oh, that's like us.
Cody and Rich.
Yeah, Cody, you and I do long range discrimination.
That's only in like underprivileged neighborhoods. So.
Now, you
They
guys
also
were
see everything.
you were beat cops. That's short range.
It's he's still got it because we were driving through Texas the other day and he was just like minority, and then he locked the doors, and I was like, yeah, he's got it.
Dude,
what color are the silhouettes that you guys shoot at in training?
The color they
African
should
American, black. Shit, what do we call him?
I'm gonna get a water. Anybody need anything?
No, like just to stop eating. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
You're on your tism right now. I have never seen anyone bully people so well on Twitter. I thought I was good at bullying people on Twitter, but when people start talking about missiles and attacking the United States or attacking other countries, you're like, no.
It is honestly, I learned from you. So I will say that I got Twitter when Brandon was running for office because you guys were in a knockdown drag-out battle with his opponent. And I was like, I just want to watch. And then I watched you. Of all people, I started seeing what Cody was saying on Twitter, and I was like, I could do that. I could do that.
And now me and you are tag teaming Iran.
It's my favorite pastime. Like, honestly, more than any social media I open on my phone, Twitter is number one. I'm just like, all right, let's see whose day I can fucking ruin. Let's just scroll through this. It's my favorite pastime.
I love how they're parading around, like the Iranian military is like parading around cripples in formation. They're just like, we could fuck up the United States. I'm just like, dude, you guys are the people that like are the tutorial of the game we actually want to play.
I broke it down mathematically because I did a video, it's my USA versus the World series, and it was versus Gaza. And what I ended up doing for most of the video was talking about the history of Gaza and Israel. And frankly, the more I read, the less I know who the fuck it belongs to. I have no idea why everyone wants to kill each other for that chunk of land. But, like...
Beautiful area.
Yeah, I guess. But... Gaza
it
is
could be.
I was like, let's just see if I can prove this mathematically. How fast did the U.S. take Iraq? Okay, we took it in X amount of days. It was like 33 days. How many square miles is Iraq? It was like 7,000 square miles. Okay, how big is Gaza? 141 square miles. I was like, okay, let's do some math. Break this down. 26 minutes, by the way. United States could take Gaza in 26 minutes. That was on my list of shit to look up.
I mean,
32 minutes, the Whoppers will be ready.
To be fair, in actuality, it's taken Israel a few thousand years.
Yeah, that's fair.
Don't make those people mad, Brandon. Come on.
I was going to say,
putting on a faction. Yeah, I feel like those people is worse.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Donate millions of dollars against his political campaign?
God forbid.
Like a pack of them?
A super pack of them? No. I don't know how much of that we can even keep. I'm going to get another water that I'm not going to get.
Just put black bars over Brandon's eyes.
But,
redacted Brandon.
Yeah, it just pops up and it goes away.
Punished Brandon.
But jumping back to the Golden Dome. So is it, a lot of people ask me, like, is this realistic? Okay, first of all, you got to understand we're the United States of America. Anything we fucking want to do is realistic. Like, we do shit because we can. We have a knife missile. We have just like crazy amounts of shit that the United States has built, and it's just like, why not? Like, that's kind of the U.S. mentality. So, is it going to be expensive? Yes. However, the goal is to build a network of sensors that all talk to each other. Now, sensors that talk to each other and say, hey, I see this here, is an easy thing. The world has that. But sensors that say, hey, I'm looking at this thing, I need you to fire your missile and guide it until it's within my radar fan.
It's like we were talking about last time with the relay race of like sensors and missiles.
Imagine like you're a sniper and you have spotters all along your path, and every time like you squeeze the trigger, your spotter, as it gets into their flight path, takes control of that round and guides it where it needs to go. It's the same principle. It's a really difficult concept. Is it possible? Yes, absolutely. But then we get into like what is considered, and this is the part of my job that I really hate. It's kind of like playing God. We do what's called a CVT assessment, criticality, vulnerability, and threat. Now, is Pawtucket's farm in fucking Pennsylvania, Iowa important? Yes, because we need sustenance for our forces. However, is it important as where we build bullets, bombs, ships, things like that? No, it's not as important in the short term. So we need to protect those assets more.
It's kind of like the Fight Club thing of like where they do the mathematics on, you know, is it more expensive to do a recall versus the lawsuits on the people they kill?
Exactly. So the same thing with us is we base.
I'm glad somebody got it.
Yeah,
like you build
instantly.
a whole plan based off of what is the highest priority target. And it's the same thing that like Israel does with the Iron Dome and Arrow 3 is if your Iranian missile, which is hot dog shit and you know to begin with, is going to land in the middle of the fucking desert, they're not even going to fucking shoot at it. They're just going to laugh at you. Like when the USS, was it the Dwight D. Eisenhower? The Houthis fired at an American ship and they missed by 100 miles. I know those guys.
Really?
Yeah, they missed by 100 miles.
Dear God.
So I know,
What was
like,
it? What did they fire? That was that bad. An AT-4?
Dog.
A dog?
They just put a dog in a catapult in the fucking center.
like it's so bad, man.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't you just throw the explosives in the catapult? Funny.
We tried this thing very many times. But yeah, no, so is it possible? Yes, but we're going to have to prioritize the highest assets first before we prioritize the lower assets. It's going to be an overwhelming amount of sensors that network together. You're going to need a large amount of manpower to man these sensors. And right now, we're currently replacing our GBIs, our ground-based interceptors, with the NGIS, Next Generation Interceptors from Lockheed Martin, which are $111 million a piece. And rumor has it they also travel at Mach 33. So there's my missile test.
How's the
Rumor
missile
has it.
firing, like flying that fast? That is cooking. How fast is what's the fast jet Blackbird?
Mach
33.
Mach
It's like
10 or
Mach
Mach
3, yeah.
Mach 3 is the SR-71, yeah.
And that is built loosely because the heat then expands, it holds
Yeah,
it
it
in place.
expands the titanium.
But we don't have hypersonic missiles.
Oh, I fucking hate that so much. Based off of the logic of hypersonics, which is anything that travels over Mach 5, I don't like using Mach because Mach is speed. Like audio or sound travels different at different altitudes. So pretty much anything that travels over 1 mile per second. We've had hypersonics since 1946 with the V2 missile program, which traveled at 1,700 meters a second at its fastest altitude.
Well, the people that we paper clipped away from the V2 anyway.
We just borrowed them. Like it's, hey, you can go to prison or you can build us some really cool fucking rockets.
Mach 33 is, guess how many miles an hour?
32,000, something like that.
25,000 miles an hour.
Well, I mean, the SLAM missile was just designed to stay up in the atmosphere permanently, wasn't it?
Yeah, so China actually has one like that. It's their DFZF. It's the DF-17, and it's the hypersonic glide vehicle. But they fire it up, and it just loiters in orbit as long as they need it to, until they're ready to drop it down.
Kind of like what we were talking about with in the video that you cameoed on my channel with the hot laps on the B-52.
Chrome Dome.
Oh,
Yeah,
Operation Chrome Dome. That's a great one.
Where it's just like they just had a fucking aircraft in the air ready to nuke at any given moment, and they were just doing hot laps.
Well, I don't know
around
about the Chinese one, but it was like the 1960s we came out with the SLAM missile.
Yeah, the SLAM, I think it was also, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a little while since I read about the SLAM. Wasn't that also the one that they had nuclear propulsion with?
Yes.
Small nuclear blast.
The SLAM missile was a nuclear propelled missile that would go super high up and literally just do hot laps around the planet in perpetuity fucking forever until they said, oh, land here. And then it would just...
That's the sort of shit that makes me kind of okay with paying taxes.
Yeah,
It's like, that's pretty cool.
So here's the thing. When you talk about hypersonics, you run into what's called the rocket problem, and this is my TISM coming off, right? So the rocket problem is based off of physics. How fast can you make that object going with the thrust that it is producing? But you also have to factor in wind resistance, heat, drag, everything. Yeah, so fuel. So like ballistic missiles nowadays, they travel at like Mach 9 or something like that, but that's when they're at apogee. The phases of flight of a ballistic missile are launch, boost, apogee, separation, and terminal. Most systems engage in the terminal phase, like THAAD, terminal high altitude air defense, and then Patriot is in the terminal phase. The only exception to this is GMD, which is in the mid-course. So that is usually right around apogee. That's why it has to move at Mach 33, because it has to meet that target when it's moving that fucking fast. Like, dude, missiles are so fucking cool. Like, for example, THAAD, right? Terminal high altitude air defense, which, by the way, on paper is the most effective air defense system in existence. It has had 4 shots and 4 kills in American history. That is the only time THAAD has ever fired, and has killed everything it's ever fired at.
What was it fired at?
Dogs.
It was...
More dogs?
Yeah.
God damn, Iran. By the
raised-
way, slam missile, nickname for my penis. Thank you.
As
It's also a loitering munition waiting to be called upon.
There we go.
it turns out, the THAAD was used exclusively by the ATF.
So THAAD has been fired at Houthi missiles and Iranian missiles. But THAAD is really cool, and I'm saying this just because, again, I'm not THAAD qualified, but this is, I was talking to one of my students, and they were kind of explaining this to me. Unclass. All of my classes unclass.
I love it. You're explaining. You're like, I'm not qualified on it. I'm like, homie, none of us knew this existed.
Yeah, that's fair. But THAAD is the epitome of, but first let me take a selfie, right? So this is the way it works. It's a 2-stage missile. Takes off like a bat out of fucking hell, right? Like moving way, makes Patriot look like a fucking slow goat, if that makes sense to everybody. Flies past it,
Yeah.
separates, then the warhead takes a picture of the object it's supposed to intercept. It then sends that picture back to the radar, which then does an infrared or digital overlay and says, "Yep, that's the target." And
it sends it directly to ChatGPT. They do a Studio Ghibli photo of the target, and then it intercepts.
Do they then make it one of those action figures?
Oh,
Exactly.
God. That action figure tells me I need to go to the gym. But
What does Miss Number 5 look like?
yeah, right. But it overlays the picture, and then boom, it just smokes it. Sends it right for it. Sends the warhead right for it, which is I think is one of the coolest interceptors that we have. Like, we have a lot of interceptors out there. That's one of the coolest.
Also terrifying we have that tech, and we just don't use it that much.
With you explaining what the gold dome is supposed to be, I'm just kind of surprised that we don't have something like that already.
So right
At
now,
least that we know about.
So GMD is again the program of record. It's a limited system. Now, when people so we have 40 missiles in California and 4 of them in Alaska. And that sounds like a lot of missiles until you realize they send between 2 to 5 interceptors at every single target to get that high probability of kill. So you run through that really quick, fast, and in a hurry. We need a lot of interceptors, but you also need qualified people who are able to fire those interceptors, which is the problem we run into. Like air defense right now, our retention rate, like maintaining people in the air defense branch, is really difficult because we just run them ragged. Because every COCOM commander out there thinks air defense is an infinite resource. Well, we'll just put Patriot there. We'll just put THAAD there. And these guys are like, 12 months out, 9 or 12 months back, and then 12 months out. Like, they're constantly fucking deploying. We never slowed down. When GWAT ended, air defense never slowed down. We're run ragged right now. But there is a big push to expand our branch exponentially. Like, it's really good because the powers that be, I don't know if it's the Pentagon, I don't know where it is, but they're like, we need air defenders, and they have been pushing people through. Now we don't have enough instructors. We have people at the AIT, Advanced Individual Training Schoolhouse, and they're having to wait there for 9 to 12 months before they can even enter class because classes
Well, now
are
you're
completely
making me
full.
feel bad about getting you to quit.
I know. I'm like, this is a perfect time for you to just do the Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm out.
And bounce out.
But it's such a cool program. Like, we can absolutely do it. So I worked. Okay, I got to be very careful here and thread some line. I worked on a program called IBCS, which is the Integrated Air Missile Defense Battle Command System.
I think that's what Eli has.
Yeah. It can't have milk.
Yeah, no cheese, no milk, no dairy. Yeah. And that system is any shooter, any sensor. So like it passes interceptors in real time. So it was probably the highlight of my career. Been all downhill since there. 2019, and this is all in class. You can look it up. IBCS Flight Test 5. You can see it on YouTube. It's all there. I engaged 2 missiles that were flying a cruise missile profile, low and fast. They were maneuvering. Well, I couldn't see them with my sensor, but I had other sensors networked in with me. So I fired circumstantially at nothing. And in the middle of the engagement, F-35s grabbed my birds and sent them into the targets, which is fucking terrifying. You can use surface-to-air missiles with F-35 air picture.
Oh, so the pilots drove them to where they needed
Pretty
to be.
much,
That's
yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're doing with the new F-15EX.
Oh, yeah, the EX, yeah.
That's the whole strategy, is they just took the F-15s and made them be able to carry way more fucking ammo, like way more missiles. They're basically a fucking missile truck. And the F-35, so it's like an F-35 and 4 F-15s. And the F-35 is like the mothership, 10,000 feet above the F-15s using its sensor, and it's just sending the targeting data directly to the F-15s.
So you turn them
to
into
Merc stuff.
a $200 million Wi-Fi router.
That's pretty much.
Literally, like it's like a mothership in an alien movie.
F-35 is
essentially.
like a computer with wings. It is the smartest thing that has ever flown, and its sensor is like its radar is fucking beast. And it was cool as shit. Like after I did the shot, which was, I'm so glad we hit our targets. I was worried, but I'm so glad it was a preliminary test. And then afterwards, the pilots were like radioed down to us. They're like, "You guys want to see us do some maneuvers?" Look, if I ever say no to that, just go ahead and chop my dick off, man. Like, do I want to see F-35s do fucking backflips and barrel rolls over top of me? Absolutely, I do.
But you had good effect on target. The wedding never saw it coming.
Yeah, that wedding party in a rectangle out there in the desert somewhere. Eh?
So I have a question that I'm A, not sure if you can answer, and
Okay.
B, I'm not sure I know. I want to know the answer.
Okay.
You're talking about like those things, like they're being like the most intelligent things that have ever flown, and like
Yes.
they've got all this data and everything. To what degree is the DoD interfacing AI into stuff like that?
So I don't know fully because the DoD compartmentalizes information really well. But I will tell you, it was brought up to me on a project that I worked on, and myself and several other NCOs who were really competent. What we did is we gave the AI a moral dilemma. So when I was talking about the CVT assessment, criticality, vulnerability, and threat, we prioritized the threats 1 through 8.
Don't do it, Rich.
do it,
Don't.
Rich.
I don't even know what you're going to
Don't
say.
do it.
Prioritize them
That's
1
what he's
through
gonna say. Don't
Do
do
it,
it.
Rich.
Oh God! What is
Fire and forget, Richard.
Just go on.
we
You're doing a good job.
Oh, God,
and
damn
I'm
it.
proud of you. You haven't embarrassed me yet. You've done great. And so I'm not going to fuck you up because you're doing a good job.
Okay.
All right? I'm sitting back and letting you shine.
Thank you.
Don't
Thank you, Rich.
fucking
All right, fair
make
enough.
it weird.
So we prioritized the targets 1 through 8, and then I think it was like target 3 or 4. We just bombarded with missiles. We threw everything at it. Now the logical response is to reserve your missiles on those higher priority assets because they are a higher priority. The moral answer is to, hey, how about we protect these things equally? And if priority 1 isn't getting fucking smoked, we send the resources to priority 4.
So it's separate but equal?
You couldn't resist.
I got to keep it in. You got to segregate them. I get it.
So the system, the AI, prioritized it as a lower priority and did the logical thing instead of the moral thing, and that's why we were like, look,
Was that a pass or a fail?
that was a fail.
Okay.
So for us, what we ended up, like the agreement that we kind of came to, and this is not under NDA, this was just like a separate thing. We came to the agreement that AI can augment operators, but AI cannot make lethal decisions on behalf of operators. So that's where we came to. Like, if it can give me information faster and at the right speed so I know what I'm looking for, I'm all for it. But it should never be able to pull the trigger.
It's
like-
like Brandon driving, like the car is driving. He just kind of has one hand on the steering
That's
wheel.
fair.
For
Oh, yeah,
Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
one hand.
Yeah, the full self-driving that is
Yeah.
basically like if I close my eyes, it fucking yells at you, kind of shit. If I'm texting, it yells at you.
Yep.
Dude, I was in.
It says it doesn't see your face. It's like you're not maintaining eye contact with the road.
It's crazy how good it is at that.
Dude, see the fucking the thing the White House released the other day, the Houthis gathering in the circle.
Oh, yeah.
what he was
The
just saying,
rectangle.
the
Yeah.
rectangle thing.
So rumor has it, and this is through the rumor mill, I have no way to confirm this, but that was a JASM. And I think that was the first time JASM is the joint... Was it joint...
JASM missile.
Jism.
Yeah.
He jism.
I had a massive JASM this morning.
Joint something, or Joint Airborne Standoff Strike Missile, I think. I'm shooting in the dark there. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I get it wrong. And
So were they, but it seemed to land.
Did you see afterwards? That shit looked like the fucking moon. Like, it was perfect.
Be like, did you see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
The
saw the
president
resolution.
tweeted it.
That's how I was. I was like, oh, they're just tweeting this now. That is.
Bro, but
The
you
fucking president of the United States is tweeting snuff films.
but
That's fucking
Yeah,
wild.
he's
I'm
tweeting
here for it.
The shit on Live Leak. We used to watch the president's like, look at this shit, yo.
But I've seen a lot of Predator feeds. I've never seen one that clear. Like, have you ever seen one that clear? I've never seen one that clear.
Dude, tech is getting
Like, that
insane.
was 4K, fucking wide angle, 120 frames. Like, that was beautiful.
We're getting
you say-
close to the fucking slow-mo replay.
It's so good, man.